Well, hello class. I thought I would give you a little overview of Chapter 3, Attitudes and Job Satisfaction. Now, the chapter overview basically is to look at your PowerPoint starting at 3.2 or 3-2. And the chapter overview examines attitudes, their link to behavior, and how employee satisfaction or dissatisfaction with their jobs affect the workplace. The learning outcomes for this particular chapter are to essentially, there's a lot of psychology here, sociology, and also there is a lot of really good strategic thinking and common sense here as it refers to organizational behavior. But what we're going to essentially do is try to contrast the three components of attitude, PowerPoint 3-3. Summarize the relationship between attitudes and behavior, compare and contrast the major job attitudes, define job satisfaction, and show how we can measure it, and finally identify 4 employee responses to dissatisfaction. Look at PowerPoint 3-3. 3-4 is to kind of look at attitude. And what is attitude? People say, well, you got an attitude. Attitudes evaluate statements and often, are largely based on perception. Attitudes either favorable or unfavorable concerning objects, people, or events. They reflect how one feels about something. The thing is about attitudes that they are often very complex and the rationale behind them may not be obvious to you in the first, at first. But to fully understand attitudes, we got to explore their fundamental properties or components. So what are the main components of attitudes? Look at PowerPoint 3-5 and Exhibit 3.1 in your book. There are 3 main components of attitudes. There's the cognitive, there's the affective, and there is the behavior. Viewing attitudes have 3 components, the ones that I just mentioned, that are really helpful in understanding their complexity. So really take a look at that and see what they're about, and I will go over that in class. But when you look at Exhibit 3-1, it illustrates how the 3 components of an attitude are related to one another. In organizations, attitudes are important for their behavioral component. Not everyone has the same attitude. It comes from our values, Supervisors, auditors, bosses, co-workers, they all have different attitudes based on their perceptions and their values. So, does behavior follow attitudes? Yeah, absolutely. Look up some of the theories of Leon Festinger, and he will look at PowerPoint 3-6. A lot of what Festinger has to say is there are 3 levels. The level of effort that is put forth to reduce the dissonance depends on 3 moderating factors. You're going to look at importance, the degree of influence, and rewards. Festinger proposes that the desire to reduce dissonance depends on these moderating factors. Okay? And the desire to reduce dissonance depends on A, including the importance of the elements that created it, and B, the degree of influence we believe we have over them. C, a third factor, is the rewards of dissonance. High rewards accompany high dissonance, tend to reduce the tension inherent in the dissonance. The second thing is moderating variables. That is the most powerful moderators of the attitude-behavior relationship. Look at PowerPoint 3.7. Look at importance, correspondence to behavior, accessibility, social pressure, and personal direct experience. PowerPoint 3-8 is going to give you the outlining what are the major job attitudes. You're going to be looking at job satisfaction, job involvement, psychological empowerment, and organizational commitment. Look at section number 3, PowerPoint 3-9, and look at how we define job satisfaction. Look at PowerPoint 3-10, 3.10 and Exhibit 3-2, and it talks about how satisfied are people at their jobs. It's really important to know that. And if, as shown in Exhibit 3-2, people are, on average, satisfied with their jobs overall, with the work itself, and with the supervisors and the co-workers. Look at 3-11, Exhibit 3-3, and PowerPoint 3.12, and it goes really deep into job satisfaction. Another important thing is Exhibit 3-4. What is the impact of satisfied and dissatisfied employees in the workplace? Basically, the implications for managers are going to be in PowerPoints 3.15, 3.16, and 3.17. And I will be going over all this stuff in class, but I just wanted to give you an overview. So I'm going to put up some YouTube videos for you to see now, and we'll see you in class on Thursday.